Number 10. Friends with Charles's wife. Before Diana learned that her fiancé was in love with another woman, she and Camilla were good friends. She even anticipated that she would be a part of her social circle following the royal wedding. Diana, on the other hand, realized before she and Charles got married that Charles still had a flame for his former partner even though she was married at the time. Princess Diana stated that she wondered if Camilla was making a mistake when she saw her in the church on her wedding day. As a result, as I was walking down the aisle, Camilla in her pale gray pillbox hat and her son Tom standing on a chair caught my eye. Number 9. Blindsided princes. It is said that William and Harry were blindsided by their late grandmother's decision to approve of her title as Queen Consort. According to Christopher Anderson, a royal expert and author, the decision was driving a wedge within the royal family. Here's hoping that everyone gets over it. Although it is said that William and Harry are now friends with Camilla, Prince Charles, their father, has a long history of having an affair with her in the 1980s and 90s, while he was still married to their mother, Princess Diana. In the end, Charles and Diana split up in 92 and divorced in 96. Charles and Camilla tied the knot in 2005, and Diana passed away in a car accident in 97. According to Anderson, who spoke with the publication, she was begrudgingly letting him do this, and one of the key elements was he promised Camilla would never be called Queen Consort. Her Majesty was miserable during Charles' second marriage ceremony. He says the late Queen was skeptical about Camilla when she married Charles, and the circumstances were certainly challenging. However, through her dedication and loyalty to the firm, she has more than proved to her that she has what it takes. Camilla grew closer to Elizabeth, upped her game, and accepted additional responsibilities willingly. Number 8. The Queen and Camilla. Many of us know the Queen to be a small woman with colorful clothing and great hats, but she clearly knows how to stand her ground. By doing so, she helped to create a very awkward scenario with Camilla Parker Bowles in December of 2020. As noted by Express, Camilla joined the Queen, Prince Charles, and other senior royals in one of their first public appearances together since the infection shutdown. To the untrained eye, the event, at which people socially distanced, looked pretty normal. But body language expert Judy James explains that there was a lot of unspoken tension between the monarch and Camilla. According to James, Camilla stood in a very awkward stance, which was only heightened by the Queen's apparent confidence. James also noted that Queen Elizabeth spoke to the band that was playing, as well as her family members, with one exception. The Queen then actively chats to the band, engaging Charles in the conversation while Camilla stands back slightly, with her rigidly placed arms suggesting an air of tension or awkwardness. James said, "We wonder what was going on behind the scenes after the event ended." Number 7. Public disapproval. People all over the country have expressed their disdain for Camilla Parker Bowles' new title as Queen in advance of the historic event on May 6th. She is the latest royal to be left squirming in the spotlight of King Charles' coronation dramas. The milestone administration 1 month from now will formally check ruler Charles as new ruler following the grievous demise of the late sovereign Elizabeth II in September last year. The Westminster Nunnery administration will likewise see Camilla delegated as sovereign. However, new survey results indicate that not everyone is pleased with the latter, indicating that people do not agree that she should be given the title his late mother wore with pride throughout her 70-year reign. According to the Mirror, a survey of 1,569 British adults was conducted online from March 24th to the 27th, and only 14% of respondents thought Camilla should be called Queen. While 36% thought she should be called Queen Consort, another 23% believed Camilla should not have a title at all, and 16% believed she should continue to be the Duchess of Cornwall. In light of the fact that many people are now questioning the necessity of the monarchy as an institution and public body at all, it comes as members of the public have increasingly expressed their opinions following the late monarch's passing. Number 6. King Charles is said to be on high alert regarding Camilla's drinking issues, which have gotten him into a lot of trouble. Charles had already persuaded his mother not to push him aside in favor of his son Prince William and beloved Kate, and began by describing some trust issues that exist between King Charles and Camilla. Camilla wasn't satisfied with the title of Princess Consort, which Charles had promised to her when they got married in 2005. She has always aspired to be the Queen. Her Majesty did not approve until Charles allegedly pulled out his ace card. This put Charles on red alert about Queen Camilla's excessive drinking. Before coming to a conclusion, the informant also stated he knows Camilla is a loose cannon who's fallen off the wagon many times before and caused him untold embarrassment. Number 5. How can we talk about Queen Camilla's awkward moments without bringing up the infamous tampon gate scandal? As noted by the Mirror, Prince Charles and Camilla were romantically involved for ages, and a secret recording of one of their phone conversations leaked. Cue Camillagate. We'll give you all the details. It was 1989, Charles and Diana were still married, and Camilla was still married to Andrew Parker Bowles. And the heir to the throne and Camilla were chatting on the phone about private time they wanted to spend together. We'll give you some of the more PG snippets from the conversation. "I need you all week, all the time," Camilla said, to which Charles replied, "I'll just live inside your trousers or something. It would be much easier." Yes, that was the current king. The audio recording leaked in 1993 and was published in People with the headline "Charles and Camilla, the tape." Safe to say, it was a very awkward look for those involved. Number 4, the tension-filled wedding. Charles's wedding to Camilla was full of tension. First and foremost, Queen Elizabeth refused to attend the ceremony. While she had given her formal approval for the couple to tie the knot, she did not show up at the actual wedding, making for a rather awkward turn of events. While many speculated that her lack of attendance was a sign that she didn't approve of the marriage behind closed doors, it was reported that the Queen didn't attend Charles and Camilla's wedding because she is the head of the Church of England and didn't want to publicly promote divorce and remarriage. Banka Cobb, a body language expert, told Geo News that Charles' sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, were visibly uncomfortable during the wedding and the photos, evident to pretty much everyone. William specifically was analyzed by Cobb and described as nervous, stiff, and plastered, and it was obvious that he was feeling some anxiety. As for the happy couple, it's hard to say exactly how they were impacted by all the drama, but it couldn't have been the most painless experience. Number 3, Camilla and Kate. Camilla was spotted with Kate and Queen Letizia of Spain at an event in 2019, where Kate was accused of intentionally ignoring Camilla during her conversation with Letizia, as the Duchess of Cornwall was pretty much just left in the background of a conversation between the two royals. In the caught on camera moment, Camilla can be spotted trying to engage in conversation and seemingly butt in when she got an opportunity. At one point, Camilla even said something to Kate directly, but Kate just carried on talking with Letizia like Camilla wasn't there. So was it awkward? 100% yes. Did Kate intentionally ignore Camilla? It's difficult to say. Maybe she was just having a riveting conversation. Either way, it was not a cute look. Number 2, Prince William's thoughts on her. Since their marriage, Camilla has remained a prominent member of the royal family. However, her stepchildren, Prince William and Harry, have maintained strict boundaries regarding their relationship. Angela Levin, a royal author, says that Prince William has made it very clear that the new queen consort will never play his late mother, Princess Diana. Camilla was very direct about how his children were with Camilla. William made it clear that Camilla is the wife of his father, but not a step-grandmother to his children. The royal couple's 3 children are aware that they have 2 grandfathers but only 1 grandmother. She went on to say, William and Harry were respectively 20 and 23 when Camilla became their stepmother officially in 2005. She was more of a sociable adult that they occasionally saw at royal events. Camilla had never assumed any responsibility for the children of the Cambridges, especially considering the closeness of Catherine's parents, Carol and Michael Middleton. Number 1, Prince Harry. In his most recent memoir, Spare, Prince Harry's portrayal of his stepmother Camilla, who is now the queen consort, is perhaps the most critical. Despite the fact that Charles and Camilla had been romantically involved on and off for decades, they did get married even after Harry and William begged Charles to reconsider. Prince Harry has not forgotten that Princess Diana referred to Camilla as the third person in her marriage. Harry once said that the tabloids had portrayed her as the villain. In their union, she was the third person and needed to improve her appearance. The two brothers did not consider it necessary and thought it would do more harm than good. They still wanted their father to be happy, but they never expected them to get married. Harry stated because of the need for her to rehabilitate her image and the connections she was making within the British press, that made her dangerous. Additionally, there was a clear willingness to both sides to exchange information. Given that she was on the way to becoming queen consort and that she belonged to a family that was structured in a hierarchical manner, there were bound to be people or bodies discarded in the open. Harry claims that Camilla and even his father used him or William to get better coverage in the tabloids for themselves.
Number 10, involving palace staff in his affair. Even Charles's cleaning staff once kept his affair with Camilla a secret. Or at the very least they tried. The Prince of Wales' affair with the Duchess of Cornwall, which occurred while Charles was married to Diana, is well known to royal family followers. And it's safe to assume that some members of the family are dissatisfied with the fact that their affair is getting screen time on Netflix's The Crown, making it by far one of the biggest royal relationship scandals. However, juicy details about their affair are harder to come by. In a well-known interview with News of the World, the prince's valet Ken Stronach shared shocking details about Charles's affair. He was even fired because of his breach of confidentiality. Stronach claimed at the time that he scrubbed grass stains from Charles's pajamas after the prince would sneak out of bed in the middle of the night to meet with Camilla, and even made sure his bed looked like he'd slept in it by ruffling it up. It was very elaborate, but no one was fooled by it. He stated to the newspaper at the time, "We've all been told not to speak to anyone about anything throughout his time with Charles. I became extremely ill as a result of the strain of keeping his secrets. Even though Charles has admitted to the affair and married Camilla, it's clear the firm still doesn't like to talk about the royal drama." Number 9, spreading rumors about Diana. Diana's former chief of staff has blasted King Charles's former courtiers for spreading lies that she was mentally ill. Patrick Jeffson, who worked closely alongside Diana for 8 years, alleges that Charles's staff smeared his first wife in a systematic campaign, while it was an open secret within the establishment that he was having an affair with longtime mistress Camilla. Jeffson said, "This is not just some casual gossip, it was a systematic campaign." Okay, it was a long time ago, but the man they were supporting is now our king, and these things should not be buried. They should not be conveniently pushed to one side. He went on to say there was a lot of nonsense talked about Diana, including rumors that she had an eating disorder and mental illness. He said, "I heard it all from people who should have known better. I think they felt threatened by her popularity, but some of the stuff was just nasty. She did not deserve it." Jeffson also claims that he witnessed firsthand how Charles was affected by the breakdown of his marriage with Diana. He said there were times when he seemed almost in despair over the whole thing. It was sad to see him so powerless yet still loving her at the same time. He added Charles was a victim of his own courtiers who had a point of view that was very much the king must be protected, but they failed to realize that people were flocking to Diana and she needed protecting too. Jeffson's powerful condemnation of Charles's former courtiers serves as an important reminder that no one should be subject to malicious gossip or lies, especially someone as beloved as Princess Diana. Even though it happened over 20 years ago, Diana's story still serves as a lesson in standing up against unfairness and injustice. On to number 8, scandals. This family has been involved in scandals for generations. Being knee-deep in controversies is not a good look for the representation of Britain, but they somehow managed to pay the news outlets to run stories to promote them in a good way. I mean, they managed to be so perfect that people sweep their complete wrongdoings under a rug, which, might I add, has to be a huge rug. No one is obviously perfect, but the extent to which the royals have been exposed for the controversies is so out of pocket that is actually shocking. And the fact that these news stories have not at all gotten as much attention as something as mediocre as Meghan potentially lying about being pregnant. Crazy. Political correspondent Nadine Bachelor Hunt argued that the royals are becoming increasingly out of place in contemporary society due to the family's past and present scandals. Number 7, travels funded by the citizens. The royal family's huge travel budget has more to do than just them having a lot of money, with one trip back in 2017 costing them $5.8 million. A few royal travel protocols they must follow included color-coded luggage, traveling with an entourage, packing a black outfit in case of an emergency funeral, and that royal heirs can't travel together just in case a plane goes down. Number 6, unloyalty. The revelations of infidelity in Charles's marriage to Diana left him, and now Queen Camilla, deeply unpopular. While he has managed to regain some positive sentiment in the British public, he remains less esteemed than many other members of the royal family. A poll showed in April 2022 that nearly half of Britons think Charles should let his son Prince William be the next king. A YouGov polling ranks him as the 7th most popular royal behind his mother, daughter-in-law Kate, son William, father Prince Philip, sister Princess Anne, and niece Zara Tindall. Number 5, donation scandal. Charles had once been embroiled in controversy over donations to his charities. The Sunday Times of London reported that the half-brothers of a controversial figure made a $1.2 million donation to a Prince of Wales charitable fund back in 2013, and Charles's official office, Clarence House, said the royal did not personally solicit the donation. Number 4, hiding details about their wealth. The royal family is under few requirements to disclose details of its wealth, but all I'm gonna say is if you want to find out, you can. The family's communications with the government are exempt from freedom of information requests. How convenient. Their official papers are kept secret by Britain's National Archives for at least 50 years, so the lack of transparency has led anti-monarchy groups, including the Republic, to call the monarchy an unaccountable public institution that has the power, secrecy, and influence to willfully abuse its position. Without a change, many details of the royal family's private wealth may never be known. Facts about the Duchy of Lancaster's offshore investments were leaked back in 2017, detailing roughly $13 million in offshore accounts. Other reports have suggested questionable foreign dealings or arrangements. King Charles was also once accused of offering to help secure a knighthood for a Saudi national in response to a donation to his charitable foundation. Representatives of Charles denied any impropriety, but obviously that sounds a little sus. Number 3, slipping away from scrutiny. Despite the threats against their lives, Charles and Diana became intensely secretive as their marriage came to an end, at times even evading their own security teams. Diana was the worst, according to the secret royals. Even early in her marriage, she became rather good at giving her own security the slip. Like an intelligence operative, she knew how to elude her tail. This caused periodic panics when royal flunkies realized she had slid out to go shopping down the King's Road, protected only by a pair of stylish sunglasses. But even with their lack of transparency, Charles and Diana were the subject of intense media scrutiny, as they were constantly tracked and photographed by the paparazzi. According to the secret royals, royal watchers had a field day for many years. Photographers scoured Kensington Palace in search of images that might depict any hint of marital discord between Charles and Diana. On occasion, they found it. Unfortunately for the couple, these moments often made front-page news. Number 2, Diana's mental health struggles. After learning about the tragic ending of Diana and Charles's marriage, we find out how much his unfaithful and negligent actions impacted Diana's mental health. He clearly has narcissistic tendencies to the point where it became detrimental to Diana's health while she was still alive. Diana struggled while trying to find her place in the royal family, and her mental health needs were not met. The royal family has tiptoed around acknowledging its failures in relation to Princess Diana, but years ago they flat out blamed her for everything that happened to her. In one chilling report, Diana is said to have thrown herself down the stairs while pregnant with Prince William. She had morning sickness throughout the pregnancy and also struggled with an eating disorder. In the documentary, Diana, in her own words, she says, "Charles said I was crying wolf, and I said I felt so desperate and I was crying my eyes out, and he said, 'I'm not gonna listen. You're always doing this to me. I'm going riding now.' So I threw myself down the stairs." Unfortunately, Charles didn't seem very bothered. The Queen comes out absolutely horrified, shaking. She was so frightened. "I knew I wasn't going to lose the baby, quite bruised around the stomach. Charles went out riding, and when he came back, it was just dismissal. Total dismissal. He just carried on out of the door." Paul, one of Diana's former butlers, said that the princess predicted her own passing in a car crash. Apparently, she was so scared 10 months before she passed away that she wrote to Paul saying that there was a plot made by a member of the royal family and that her car brakes would be tampered with and she would suffer serious head injuries, and all of this would be so that the Prince of Wales could marry again. The letter she wrote read, "I'm sitting here at my desk today in October, longing for someone to hug me and encourage me to keep strong and hold my head high. This particular phase in my life is the most dangerous. My husband is planning an accident in my car, brake failure and serious head injury in order to make the path clear for him. And Camilla is nothing but a decoy." Will Charles ever speak on this super suspicious letter? Most likely not, but we do need the answers. And finally, number 1, jealousy. During his first marriage to Princess Diana, he had his first significant encounter with disapproving public opinion. Archival footage of the couple touring Australia in the new HBO documentary The Princess suggests that he was jealous of how much more popular she was. Diana confirmed that Charles envied the public's devotion to his wife in her explosive '95 interview with the BBC's Martin Bashir. "The pressure on us both as a couple with the media was phenomenal and misunderstood by a great many people," she said. "We'd be going round Australia, for instance, and all you could hear was, 'Oh, she's on the other side.'" Diana subsequently clarified that the waiting crowds were expressing their disappointment that Charles was closer to them rather than Diana, explaining they weren't on the right side to wave at me or to touch me. That is all for today. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about, these King Charles icks that made him unlikable. And if you still like him, let me know in the comments, I guess. Number 10, the failed curtsy moment. Now, as many know, there is a scene in the Harry and Meghan series that shows Meghan doing an overly dramatic take of the royal curtsy she was to do when she met the Queen. And as she's laughing it up, look over to Harry and notice his reaction. He's staring at her as if he's annoyed with her mocking something that is part of his tradition. Interesting. Seeing as he is uncomfortable by the mockery, it's definitely not a good look for Meghan at all. But why should Meghan be judged for just trying to have a few laughs? Well, the royal family isn't known for laughing, and having fun in public. It seems that they aren't keen on displaying emotions of any kind, let alone something as out there as laughter. So it's understandable why Harry was not too thrilled with Meghan's antics. Now, viewers, please don't come at me. I know that they do laugh and have a good time in public. They just tend to keep it more reserved most times. Now that we're clarified that, what can we take away from this cringeworthy moment is, well, even if we don't agree with all the customs of a certain group, it's important to respect them. So while Meghan was just having fun and expressing her joy with a little mockery of the tradition, she might have gone a bit too far. But hey, at least someone got a good laugh out of it. It's always important to remember that we can still have fun within the boundaries of a certain culture. While Meghan should have been more aware of the rules in this case, it's also good to take things with a grain of salt. Number 9 in the spotlight. Meghan and Harry's whirlwind romance has been in the spotlight pretty much since they got together. With fans and haters watching their every move, this couple is used to getting lots of attention, whether they like it or not. When Harry got with Meg, people started watching Meg like a hawk, dissecting her every move. Naturally, when you're part of the royals, people are going to be more inclined to know what you're like. This was especially true during their royal tour to Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and Tonga. Everywhere they went, fans were waiting with bated breath to see what Meghan would do next. But one particular moment revealed a side of Meghan that nobody had seen before, as she stepped out from her car on the very first day of their official duty in Melbourne. As soon as she emerged from the car, photographers started to take her picture, and while it's expected that the paparazzi will be snapping away at any royal engagement, Meg was not having it. She stopped in her tracks and turned on the photographers with a stern look and a court, "No photographs please," which of course they ignored. It was a cringe-worthy moment for Meg, and one that seemed to reveal her true feelings about the intense public scrutiny. Number 8, Oprah interview. After the infamous interview dropped back in 2021, the couple had been accused of prolific lying. With lies being told about racism among other things, people can't help but wonder what the truth is and what is being exaggerated. It's been speculated that the interview was a major turning point for Meghan's public image, and it will take her a long time to undo the damage it caused. After all, viewers can't help but feel uncomfortable when they hear Meghan describe how she felt suffocated by the royal family and wronged in many ways. It appears that this cringe moment will stay with the public for a while, as Meghan and Harry have yet to provide substantial evidence to disprove any of the claims they made in the interview. Until they do, it looks like Meghan's cringe moment will remain a part of her legacy, whether she likes it or not. At this point, many are looking to the future of Meghan and Harry, wondering if they'll be able to rebuild their image of if the cringe moment will forever haunt them. With time being the only factor that can answer this question, one thing is certain: it's going to be an interesting ride for the royal couple. Number 7, mistreating staff. Leading up to the Oprah interview, the Times reported accusations that Meghan mistreated her Palisades and staff prior to the 2020 exit. While Meghan denied the allegations, noting in a statement to us in March 2021 that she was saddened by the latest attack on her character, the palace revealed they were investigating the claims. It doesn't help that Meghan's alleged treatment of staff has been documented in a handful of cringeworthy moments, from her demanding no one sit until she did to her apparent refusal to curtsy for the Queen in 2018. Sources even claimed the Duchess was anxious about meeting Her Majesty. When it comes to protocol and respect, Meghan certainly could have done better. In the end, it shows her royal exit may have had more to do with attitude than anything else. But Meghan's behavior isn't all cringeworthy. From her work on gender equality to her commitment to charity, there is also plenty of evidence that she used her platform for good and even earned the approval of Prince Harry. In the end, it's hard to deny that on some level, Meghan did shake things up in a good way the royal family had never seen before. Number 6, ditching friends. Is Meghan ditching her friends for her royal status? A former friend and colleague who said Meghan ghosted her was Gina Nelthorpe-Crown, who found the future Duchess to be hugely charismatic when they first met in 2014. Nelthorpe-Crown said that when Meghan started to become famous, she stopped returning calls and texts and eventually blocked her on social media. The former friend also added that Meghan had a pattern of discarding her relationships with the people who helped her get to where she is today. This could be seen as a lack of appreciation for those who helped Meghan. It's almost like she forgot her roots, which some may find cringeworthy, especially since as the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan has used her platform to promote values such as kindness and compassion. It looks like Meghan needs to remember where she came from and show her appreciation for those who helped propel her to fame. After all, they were the ones who helped her get to that point in the first place, right? Number 5, drama with the in-laws. When news of Harry and Meghan's move out of Kensington to strike out on their own first broke in November of 2018, the public and the press came to a unanimous conclusion as to why that would be. Meghan! Everyone pointed the fingers at the new royal, suggesting her alleged difficult Duchess attitude was not just reserved for the staff, and had caused a feud between her and Kate. Obviously, that turned out to be untrue. The Sussexes were expecting a baby and wanted more space in the 2-bedroom apartment they lived in at Kensington Palace. But it seemed the so-called rift between Meghan and her in-laws was never completely put to rest. In early 2020, the press speculated that William and Kate weren't too happy with their brother Harry for his dramatic exit from the family. Reports say they were disappointed by his decision to step away from royal duties and even further frustrated by the circumstances under which he did it. It's easy to see why Meghan would feel a bit of pressure due to her in-laws' disapproval. Not only did she have to deal with the public scrutiny of being a new member of the royal family, but also had to overcome their bias against her. Number 4, playing victim. Harry's newly formed and deeply damaging anti-royal beliefs are being peddled by Meghan, according to some people, including royal author Tom Bower, who said this while speaking to American journalist Megyn Kelly. He started by branding the American clever, adding, "Don't think for a moment that she's not convincing a lot of people that somehow she was thrown to the wolves," which according to him is completely untrue. It appears that Meghan is a master of playing the victim card whenever she's faced with criticism. She often finds an excuse to blame her struggles on something else instead of taking responsibility for any mistakes she may have made. For example, when discussing stepping back from royal duties, Markle pointed fingers at the royal family and claimed that they wouldn't have been able to provide her with the same level of support she's had before. The irony is that Markle has often cited the importance of taking responsibility for your own actions, choices in previous interviews, even going as far as saying the only way to move forward is to take control of our lives and start taking action from a place of responsibility. Markle's tendency to play the victim isn't limited to her royal life either. She has been known to use this tactic in her previous acting career as well, such as when she described the racism and sexism she faced while auditioning for roles in Hollywood. Number 3, not caring to learn about the royal life. Within an interview with Oprah, Meghan claims she knew nothing about the life she was set to live with the love of her life, Harry. According to a well-placed source, that was, oh wait for it, blatant lie. Harry and William's private secretary at the time had created an organized folder with information and contacts to help Meghan in this transition into royal life, but clearly she didn't care to learn any of it, and on top of that, accused the palace of not directing her through this journey. It's okay not to know things, but lying is not the best way to go about it. This cringe-worthy moment was embarrassing for us all, and we feel your pain, Harry. Luckily for Meghan, an abundance of resources are available nowadays that can help any newbie find their royal footing. All it takes is a bit of a commitment and dedication to learn how to be a princess. Number 2, Netflix docuseries. We have all seen or at least heard about the 6-part Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan, and let me tell you, the tea on the 2, especially Meg, is hotter than ever. While it was back in 2020 that the couple stepped away from their royal duties to live a life away from the responsibilities and have a quiet and normal life, we can't help but wonder why everything they've been doing is the exact opposite of quiet. The docuseries did a great job of showing us a lot of cringe moments from both Harry and Meghan, but the one that sticks out for me has to be when Meghan talks about her life pre-royalty in Kensington Palace. She speaks about how she had a normal job and wasn't even aware of the royals before meeting Harry. What makes us so cringe is how she speaks about the palace and the royal family as if they were foreign to her. And finally, number 1, Princess Diana 2.0. Apparently, Meghan always wanted one thing in life, and that's to become a member of the British royal family. Now, she's never personally confirmed that, but her friends say that she's always had a fascination with the royals. According to some sources, this was all a part of Meghan's plan. She's wanted to be a princess since she was a teenager, with one old pal saying she was always fascinated by the royal family and wanted to be Princess Diana 2.0. I'm not shocked at all. It's like she's been planning this all her life. She gets exactly what she wants, and Harry has fallen for her play. Talk about an awful friend for outing Meghan like that, but is it true? Starting off with number 10, awkward hand gestures. Prince Harry has had some seriously awkward moments that were captured by millions of people. Born in 1984 to Prince Charles and Princess Diana, Prince Harry grew up with the Queen of England as a grandmother, which couldn't have been easy. The young boy was subjected to royal etiquette rules from the moment he came into the world. Then as Prince Harry got a little older, he started to misbehave. Ever since his problematic teenage years, Prince Harry has been known as something of a royal bad boy. However, in 2016, Harry met his wife-to-be Meghan Markle, and his rebellious streak seemed to have come to an end. Nevertheless, just a few years earlier, Harry had a cringe-worthy moment that was seen by millions. In 2012, during the London Olympics, the prince made an appearance alongside his brother William and sister-in-law Kate Middleton at the beach volleyball tournament. He looked visibly uncomfortable in front of the crowds and cameras given his royal status. He even made some awkward hand gestures which made him look even more embarrassed. It was a classic Prince Harry cringe moment, and it's one that will always be remembered. Since then, Prince Harry has become much more comfortable in the public eye, and he regularly appears with Meghan at royal events and charity functions, and seems much more confident now than he did back in 2012. Even though Harry may have had his awkward moments, his transition to a responsible royal is commendable and inspiring. With more public appearances on the horizon for the Duke of Sussex, we can only hope that he continues to feel confident in himself and shine through any embarrassing situations. Number 9, cringe greeting. Ever gone for a kiss on the cheek and immediately regretted it? We've all been there. I mean, have we? As it turns out, so has Prince Harry. In 2018, the royal was caught on camera in what is surely one of the most awkward greetings of all time. After greeting Melania Trump with a handshake, Prince Harry leaned in to give her a kiss on the cheek. Just as his lips were about to make contact, however, he suddenly realized that she was already turning away. With impeccable grace and composure, he changed direction mid-air and instead gave her an awkward pat on the shoulder. The entire incident was so cringeworthy that it left fans and reporters alike in stitches. And while we can all agree that Harry handled the situation with poise, his expression in the aftermath was absolutely priceless. Of course, awkward moments like these only make us love our favorite royals even more. They're human after all. So here's to hoping that Prince Harry has since learned the importance of timing when it comes to royal greetings. And if not, you can always take comfort in the fact that his fans will love him regardless. Who else could pull off such an awkward moment with a smile? Number 8, awkward phone call. In 2020, Harry and Meghan announced they were stepping away from the royal family and moving away from Britain. Later that year, the couple took part in a video call with members of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust from their new home in LA. According to body language expert Judy James, the prince looked uncharacteristically awkward throughout the call and even spoke down to the floor. She went on to comment on Harry's positioning in the frame, saying that he looked slightly trapped to one side. While it's not entirely clear why the prince was so uncomfortable during the call, one can only speculate that he felt out of place in his new home. Despite living in LA for 8 months back then, Harry's roots are still deeply tied to Britain, and this probably caused a certain disconnect in his current surroundings. With the royal family drama that unfolded that previous year, it's not unusual for people to feel out of place when uprooted from their comfort zone. After all, the transition from a traditional lifestyle to one rooted in modernity can be daunting and overwhelming. It's likely that Harry is still adjusting to his new home, and with time he'll find his footing and start feeling more at ease. Of course, Harry is an incredibly resilient person, and it's no doubt that he will find his place in his new environment. And it's admirable that despite all the challenges, he still finds time to engage with important causes and initiatives like the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. His commitment to social issues and causes close to his heart is inspiring and a testament to his strength of character. Number 7, Miranda Hart. Miranda Hart is a well-known British comedian who won over audiences with her hit show Miranda. The star opened up about her awkward encounter with Prince Harry on the Graham Norton show. It all happened when she hosted part of the Jubilee concert and had the chance to meet both the princes. She explained, "I completely died on my ass with Harry. It was so embarrassing." It seemed like the royal was equally as embarrassed, as he quickly said, "I'm so sorry, I didn't know that was going to happen." The comedian went on to share more about her interaction with Harry. He looked at me and he goes, "Oh my god, you look terrified." And I said, no, just a bit overwhelmed. We can all identify with that feeling. It was also revealed that the encounter wasn't over yet though. As Miranda recalled, Harry went on to say, "We've met before, haven't we?" And I said no, and he said, "Oh yes we did, you were at my house for dinner." Of course I had no recollection of this, and I hadn't met him before at all. He made it up. We can't help but chuckle at the royals' attempt to save face. Miranda went on to share a little more about the evening, adding, "I thought it was one of those moments when someone is gonna pat you on the arm and say it's nice to meet you again, but it wasn't. The interesting encounter between the pair was a testament to Harry's ability to think on his feet and how he managed to handle the awkward situation with charm. It goes to show that even members of the royal family have moments of cringe-worthy embarrassment. We can only imagine the other funny stories Miranda has up her sleeve when it comes to her brush with royalty." Number 6. Ex-girlfriend. It's pretty common knowledge that Harry had a seriously wild past, so it's not surprising that the prince has quite a few ex-girlfriends. One of the lucky ladies rumored to be on that list is actress Jenna Coleman. Apparently Prince Harry and his wife Meghan bumped into Coleman during a trip to Amsterdam in 2018, and by all reports, the encounter was seriously awkward. Harry reportedly tried to make conversation with Jenna Coleman, but the actress was so uncomfortable that she could barely respond. According to an eyewitness, Meghan looked embarrassed and had a look of shock on her face. Meanwhile, Harry continued to rattle off polite small talk, something he's definitely not used to doing when it comes to his exes. Needless to say, the entire event was really cringeworthy. Number 5, the first date. Prince Harry met his future wife Meghan in 2016, and the rest is history. And while the pair hit it off pretty quickly, one embarrassing instance proves that they weren't quite ready for marriage right out of the gate. In an interview on BBC Radio 4, Harry revealed that the pair had their first date in a supermarket. As if that wasn't cringe enough, they were caught by paparazzi. To make matters worse, he said, "I was really trying to impress her, but it didn't quite go to plan." Thankfully, Harry and Meghan were able to move past this awkward moment, proving that even royals, they have their embarrassing moments. But it seems like the couple still joke about it, as Harry said in the same interview that I'm sure the paparazzi, were wondering what on earth was going on. Number 4, Malala Yousafzai. Malala is an internationally recognized activist for gender equality in Pakistan and the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate. Prince Harry met Yousafzai at the 2014 We Day Assembly, and the meeting turned out to be pretty awkward for them both. Apparently it all started innocently enough, according to Craig Kielburger, who co-founded the event. When the pair were posing for a photo together, Harry casually tried to place his arm around the activist's shoulder. Kielburger explained that her mother started shouting, "No, no, no," which translated to, "Not unless you marry her, can you touch her?" He revealed to Hello magazine, "Yikes, the prince clearly didn't know the correct protocol." Kielburger went on, "The prince was so red in his face at that moment and he was clasping his hands in the front. Malala was so embarrassed, and we aren't surprised. The moment sounds totally mortifying." Number 3, awkward pregnancy reveal. Anyone who follows the royals will know that etiquette matters. With the royal family, there is a correct time and place for everything. However, it would seem that Harry's wife Meghan didn't fully understand the intricacies of royal etiquette, and she ended up seriously embarrassing her husband because of it. According to the book Royals at War, written by journalists Dylan Howard and Andy Tillett, Markle's pregnancy announcement was incredibly poorly timed. Meghan put her foot in it, the book stated, when she decided that Princess Eugenie's wedding would be the ideal moment to announce that she and Harry were expecting their first child. As the book went on to explain, that was a huge social gaffe, as it stole the limelight from the bride. Yikes. Apparently, Markle's bad timing made both the bride and her mother furious. That must have been pretty awkward for Prince Harry, who would have known just how serious Markle's blunder was. Fortunately, there are plenty of royal rules Meghan and Harry no longer have to follow. Number 2, Instagram handle. Most people who have grown up with social media accounts have their own embarrassing online histories. Whether it's an old MySpace page or an email address you've made when you were a teenager, we've all been there. But it may surprise you to learn that Harry has social media gaffes of his own. In 2020, Harper's Bazaar published an excerpt from Finding Freedom, a biography about Harry and Meghan. It confirmed that the royal had a super cringeworthy Instagram handle back in the day. Ready for it? Apparently, Harry started an Instagram account under the name Spiky Mouse, S being a 5, back in 2016. The authors of the book revealed that the name was an homage to the prince's love of house music and artist deadmau5. Apparently, Spike is a nickname often used by Scotland Yard officers. Talk about an awkward revelation for Prince Harry. Or should we say Spiky Mouse? Number 1, battling with the bee. Harry frequently gives speeches in public as part of his royal duties, or at least he did before moving to LA with his wife Meghan. During one such event in 2019, things didn't go according to plan when a pesky bee stole the prince's thunder. The hilarious moment took place during Charles's 70th birthday celebrations. As Prince Harry delivered his speech, he was seen swatting away a bug that was flying close to his head. Harry then went quiet for a moment before trying to continue, stumbling over his words. He then chuckled and said, "Sorry, that bee really got me," provoking laughter from audience members. Apparently bees don't have too much respect for royalty. I gotta say I'm impressed at how Harry handled the situation so professionally. After all, bee stings can be seriously painful.